Amaya, hey, how are you? Can you hear me? Checking my microphone to see what's good. But I got a surprise for you. I am going to be swimming in a waterfall. Chaos. Good to see you, buddy. How's my audio? 5x5? Awesome. I'm just getting some lighting set up. We're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. Do something different. This is one of my favorite swimming spots. I actually spent the majority of the afternoon here with my daughter today. And I couldn't help to come back for more. So bear with me briefly. I'm going to be away from chat for a minute. I'm going to turn the light things up here a bit. There. Oh, of course, Amaya. You can be a mod just to check everybody else out. Got some good people that come to my lives. So let's see. Congratulations, Amaya. Enjoy your shield. I'm pretty tolerant with people on my channel. Don't ban anybody unless I ask, but I really don't get that many trolls, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to play with the lighting a little bit more, but before I do, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek on where I'm at. So wait for the lights to come back. There we go. So I am in a pretty cool damn place. I'm gonna have to back up and give you guys a better view because this place is just stunning. Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure it's necessary. And I hope it gets you on the right path. You've been through an awful lot at a young age, and you have an amazing strength to you, kiddo. And I really do wish you the best. I really do. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. You'll recover quickly. Sounds like the last one went well. I know you've been dealing with a lot of pain. It sucks. I'm so sorry for you, but I'm glad you can find a little comfort in your time that you spend with friends on lives and stuff like this. And of course your beautiful artwork. If you guys in the chat here want to do me a favor, go ahead and check out Amaya's art tribe. She's an amazing kid, going through an awful lot in life, but she's been finding a way to smile throughout it all, and she's been sharing some beautiful artwork. So go ahead over to her channel and check her out. So I'm not really too happy with the laser projector. It keeps fading out and off, and I also think I'm gonna swim. Yeah, you're not gonna see them, but there are a few brookies here, not nearly what there used to be. But let's give you a view. We are at a very low water condition right now. When it's higher, this thing is an absolute rager, but you can get inside it and actually get behind the flow. Kind of like a little villain's lair in the cartoons or what have you. Yeah, unfortunately, you really have to fight to be an advocate for your own health in a hospital setting. The healthcare system is not what it should be by any means. I have a feeling there's a fish checking out my other light over here. Is it? No, it's just near a stick, I think. Alright, never mind. But this is quite the beautiful place. And there's more falls further down out in a little bit, but we'll give a chance for some people to swing by. I know I do my lives pretty randomly and don't put out much notice, but I'm ADD, so if you've been here before, you're well aware. But Let's see. Go with that for now. See what that does. Chaos, it's all about the Benjamins. It always is. Give you guys a bit of a view there. Hope everybody's having a good night. Where the hell did I put my flashlight? There it is. I have to thank Bookcraft Review for coming down to update that, and they're getting the latest waterproof thingy. Last time I was down here, I soaked out my lighter. Couldn't get it started because I didn't have a... Things about being a fan of the outdoors. As long as you survive your trip, you can learn from it and have a better experience next time. So... I'm sorry, Amaya. The perils of Starlink. Let's see. Maybe that'll help a little bit, but we'll see. I've got like 1 or 2 bars of cell service, but I thought the Starlink was going to be enough. Maybe I'm just in a bad spot. I've got it higher up on a rock above me, so it's got a clear view of the sky. It's sitting somewhere up there. But this is a beautiful spot. It is a nice little local swimming hole. And I spent most of the day with my daughter here. Fantastic little place. Oh, very nice. I like that effect. Yep. Beautiful place. And we're going to explore around for a few minutes. Hopefully the sound of the water doesn't wash my voice out and you can hear what I'm saying. Yeah, there's almost nothing in this river except tons of tiny little fry, a couple little fingerlings, 1 or 2 brook trout, and a couple pretty big crayfish. But other than that, and a few water bugs, nah. I do not envy the wildlife issue in Florida. So, I'm going to see if we can work our way back a little bit and give you a better vantage point to view the whole setup. Unfortunately, I left my trekking pole at the top of the falls, so I'm going to be very slow moving around here. But, so, we'll do the panorama. And I got it all to myself. I love stuff like this. Like, just being able to experience a place like this during the day is pretty damn cool. But to have it to yourself all at night, multiple little waterfalls, pools deep enough to swim, the water almost as warm as the air. The last couple nights it's been about 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit with incredibly high humidity. But the temperature's dropping down quite a bit tonight. It's probably somewhere between 65 to 68 degrees, and the water is not a heck of a lot colder than that. So, yeah, I've actually been thinking about working on some mods to my trekking poles to add some survival kit stuff to them. Kind of like the Altoids tin survival kit stuff, but just wrapped around the midsection of the pole. But I mean, I had a small pack with me. I easily could have stowed it. I brought my tripod down here. So I just left the trekking pole up at top because I didn't really think I was going to be wandering too much down below the next set of falls, which I'll show you in just a second, because it goes on for quite a ways. And just beyond those boulders here, there's a really nice section that I did have good luck fishing the last couple of years, but I haven't really seen a heck of a lot this season. But since I don't have my pole, I don't know if I really want to go down there at the moment. I'll think on that for a bit. We'll get back to something worth looking at, because it certainly isn't me. But, yeah. There's a couple stars out tonight. My phone isn't going to pick them up, but this works well enough for now for me. I brought my own stars. I got a cheap little laser projector thing that runs off a USB battery pack. Those colored lights are what I use for a 10-foot by 10-foot camp square canopy when I go camping with my kids. Oh, fantastic. I've wanted to go gold panning for quite a long time. That was one of the things I really keyed in on during the COVID lockdowns, is all the gold panning videos. And there are some gold-bearing rivers throughout New Hampshire, and I just never kind of got around to it. I have a hard enough time getting up to the woods recently anyway, because of all the overtime I've been doing. But every chance I get, I find a little place like this and just decompress. So, yeah, those pucks aren't doing that much down there, so I may have to swim down and get them. Relocate them a bit more in the shallows so it'll reflect more light off everything. But get off my phone, bug. All right, let's get back over there. Get back in the water. Maybe we'll spot another trout. Now. I usually see a lot of crayfish in the upper pools, but not necessarily in this lower pool. There's nothing to write home about. But we'll walk over and take a look at the falls here. It does get about 6 or 7 feet deep over here. The majority of it is anywhere from like 2 to 4 feet or so. But here's the other falls. Well, these are considered the big ones, but just fantastic. Purple sand. I thought black sand was the ticket. Black sand because it's got all those heavy magnetics and they all kind of have the similar density. I mean, gold is 8 times denser than water, I believe. But so it naturally filters itself out. So all the heavy sands and stuff go with it too. There's my puck. I'm gonna have to put you guys back on the tripod so I can dive down and get that one, and move them. But I'll back up and give you a little bit more of a view of the falls here. Got some lights set up. And I got the place to myself. I love it. New Hampshire has an awful lot of beauty to offer. And being an unhoused outdoorsman, primarily I live in my car. During the work week, I stay pretty local. I've had the same job and whatnot for 6 years, so I'm pretty much geo-locked. But every chance I get, I bugger off north into the White Mountains, or I find a place to hammock camp, tent camp, bivy bag and tarp, you name it. Every opportunity I get to stop sleeping in my vehicle for a night or two and break things up, and I get to find places like this to hang out. I have done a riverbank camp further down this river last year. I did do some filming, but I never got around to editing it. Kind of like everything else, I suck at that part. It's pretty much why I've only been doing lives recently, is because I just don't have the bandwidth in my brain to deal with the editing, let alone a decent laptop to do it. And it's starting to get frustrating doing it on my phone for the bigger projects. But nice little spot. So I gotta swim over and get that puck, and I gotta swim over and get that puck. Maybe we'll put them somewhere over here where they do better good. But I'm gonna get you guys on the tripod, get my shirt off, and get wet. And I gotta make sure I take my microphone off, because apparently DJI mics are incredibly prone to water damage, which kind of sucks given how prevalent they are and how good their audio quality is. I'm actually colder above water than I am below water right now. The air is definitely dropping in temp. I can't pull up my weather app right now to confirm. Well, Chaos, I got a couple places to show you. And this is a good one, although the canyons on the sides of this river are a little too steep, and it's a pretty public area, so you'd really have to walk up the river from the other end to find a decent hammock spot that you're not going to get bothered in the morning. Because people do come down here at all times of the week during the day, but I've never seen another soul here at night. It's fantastic. Shirt off. There's that. Well, we're going to see if my cracked headlamp is still waterproof enough. I almost went swimming with my mic because my mic's attached to my headlamp band. So I'm going to clip you off to the tripod. Maybe. No, there's no good spot for that. So I'm going to leave you guys right up here. I'll be back in a minute. I just got to go get those underwater lights off camera and move them. Well, I almost lost my headlamp with that one. I guess I gotta tighten the band a bit. But look. Alright, one down, one to go. There we go. Back up a little bit. Lost the view of that waterfall. Trying to get as much of the scene in as I can. Still have a place to stand. I'll definitely try to remember that, Chaos. That's a good tip. Oh, hey, I was zoomed in. I guess that makes a difference. I think we need to get the lasers going. Because this light isn't really showing up, but the lasers do work pretty good. Oh, come on, stay on. It's changing patterns. Well, it's not showing shit. I'm sorry. I thought that was going to show up better on camera. When I took the photos for the preview, it looked fantastic. But they keep fading in and out, and I don't know why. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great night. I think I've got an IPA in my bag somewhere I can crack and relax. Oh, I missed Bigfoot? No, well, I think they're probably swimming at the pools just down the river. The last couple lives I did were further upstream. There was just a shell about 5 feet deep, 30 feet long, cut in the rock, and pretty slow flow, so I was swimming there just because it's much easier access. Let me find my light and show you. So I hauled down that rock wall in order to get down here, because you can't tell, but this really steep canyon or ravine walls up here, very rocky. Good to see you, Ground Fog. This is a fantastic little place on that. So move the camera a bit. Still trying to find a decent vantage point where the water's deep enough I can still actually swim. But it's pretty shallow over here. But that's one set of falls. There's another on the other side of the rock over there. I'll show you this big wall. Get all my crap on the rock there. But, oh, don't you hate it when you got water in your ear that won't come out? Yeah, the camera's not showing it, but there's lasers and stuff there. If I try to zoom in. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good night. I had a fantastic day. And, well, look at that. It is exactly midnight on the nose. So I guess I'm starting off a new day in the right way. Having a nice little swim. Yeah, I've got some in my first aid kit back in the car. But I just hate when you're like at the river and you can't shake it loose out of your ear. You look like you're like autistically headbanging or something. And just around that corner is another little waterfall. I'm gonna grab a smoke and then we'll go take a walk and look around. This place is absolutely stunning. But for the moment, I'm gonna leave you panned on that. If you hold your thumb or your thumb knuckle just right and wiggle it in your ear, you can create suction that sometimes helps. No, I'm just looking like that Saturday Night Live skit with Will Ferrell and what the hell is his name? Like in the bar, like bobbing my head, trying to shake it. See, friends share. That's what they're for. Share that brain cell. Put it to use. I love you guys. We'll go over here and take a look at that waterfall. The water here is incredibly clear. We'll probably be able to see some fish floating around in here. Anybody home? They don't usually tend to hang around this end except for the really small ones. So that's what I'd expect to see there. But my crippled ass is trying to walk on pretty slippery rocks, so bear with me. So here's the other falls. And then this just keeps going up and up and up and up. Night at the Roxbury. Yes, thank you. That is my preferred method for clearing water out of my ears. Because I guess I'm just special like that. But nice little falls there. Got a view of everything over here. Crap on the rock out there, but really nice place. I didn't expect a lot of people to show up tonight. I mean, it is fucking midnight on a Sunday. All of us poor bastards have to work tomorrow, including myself. My normal schedule starts at 9, but I'm going in at 7, and I have a load of laundry to do before I can pass out tonight. So when I do wrap up, that's my next task. So as glorious as this life seems, being able to swim at a waterfall in the middle of the night, still got to deal with reality. But it's these little moments that make everything else worth it. But, okay, don't slip on the rock, dumbass. Oh, yeah, that trekking pole would have been handy. Yeah, I never really got into riding. My dad got hit by too many blue-haired old women in Cadillacs. He ended up, first when he got a free-flying lesson over his handlebars, over the hood of the bike, over a set of train tracks, landed on his feet, and only broke his big toe. Yeah. The second time, he was T-boned, and his leg and femur got crushed into his gas tank. And he was in an external erector set for quite a while. But that bastard deserved all the pain he got. He was a terrible man. But I'll leave it at that. Let's see. I think I can get down there without too much issue, because it really is cool down there. I don't know how far my Starlink will show, or the Wi-Fi will work, but there's another set of gorgeous pools down that, right down on that rock. You can see them, but this place is fantastic. And I got it all to myself for a little while. There's a beautiful little waterfall there. The main one's hidden behind that rock there. And then the other one's back over there where we were just walking. But I think I need to get back in the water. warm up because the air temperature still seems like it's dropping. But yeah, I think it's time to crack that IPA. What do you guys think? I'm not really a big beer fan, and really I've almost never found an IPA I enjoy. But I was given one recently, and hey, why not? But well, Verizon did have a national outage where a lot of people weren't able to make outgoing cell calls. I know that happened. That was mostly yesterday, but not a bad spot. I wish the lasers and everything would show up on the night photography mode of my phone. It looks beautiful against the rock walls here, but for some reason it's totally washed out. I do like Newcastle ground fog. The only problem is after like 2 or 3 of them, it gives me heartburn like a son of a bitch. And yeah, I don't mind the heavy beers. I don't mind wheat, Hefeweizens. Probably Guinness and Bass are in my top 5. Yingling, pretty close to number 1 if I had to pick one, but I can't get it in New Hampshire. Okay, yeah, chaos, absolutely. It's Verizon network issues. But let's stir up some water and get some flexion going. Oh, that's cool. We're going to play with that more in a minute. Well, for the longest time, they didn't really sell it north of Pennsylvania for distribution issues or whatever. I don't know why. And then I found it when I went to some company meetings down in Maryland and fell in love with it. I love the regular lager. I definitely prefer lagers over most beers, but this is pretty cool. It'd be nice if we could see some fish in here, but they probably don't want to be anywhere near me. Those string lights are Canopy Brights. They're like 20 bucks a set from Walmart. They take 3 AA batteries, and they'll run a good 12 to 18 hours depending on how bright you have them. I haven't really run these colored ones that much. I have a same thing but in white string, and they'll last a couple evenings, no problem. And I tend to use rechargeable USB-C AA's for everything, so it's easy to get everything recharged. But they said they were water resistant, and yeah, I'm putting that to the test. I did keep the control box out of the water, including the one at the top of the falls here, and then the other one's sitting on the rock over there. But the light strings themselves are fully waterproof. There is a rubberized gasket inside the plastic housing for the batteries. But like I said, I'm keeping that out of water. I would say it's splash and rain resistant, but I wouldn't necessarily dunk that in the pool. These lights, the little spotlights there and there, those are waterproof pool puck lights. And those were 10 bucks a piece, also at Walmart. I haven't played with the settings on the remote. I'm glad I brought both remotes down with me because the first one got wet. Why the hell would you sell waterproof pool lights with a non-waterproof fucking remote? Like, I wasn't even thinking. I reached down in the water to grab the puck with the remote in my hand. It started like blinking its LED, and then nope. But I had the other one wrapped up in a plastic bag, and I'm glad I did. 2 is 1, 1 is none. At first I was like, nah, I'll just leave it in the car. And I'm like, no, I'm a dumbass. I'm going to bring them both. And I'm glad I did. But, yeah, those string lights are pretty dope. But Dopes made the remote for these fucking pucks. But let's see if we can poke around and maybe find some fish. Oh, I see a tiny one, a couple tiny ones sitting on the bottom there. About 3 inches long. You can kind of see he's right there. Let's see. Can I zoom? Can we zoom? Hey, signs of life. There's a fish. There's another fish. There's more fish. Chaos, fantastic idea. Genuinely. It'd have to be, yeah. Yeah. Yes. I still have to make them public, but my stream here 3 nights ago, I saw a pretty decent sized crayfish. Oh, those look like maybe a couple tiny little bluegill. I don't know. They're definitely not trout. They're just chilling. I wonder what they think of all the lights going on. Let's see if we can find some trout. It's a good sign that we see these guys. But in this lower pool here, I haven't seen any crayfish. They usually stick to the rocks along the main edges of the banks of the river. Probably because there's so many little fish in here. But the ones I saw were decent sized. Probably the body alone was 4 inches. Let's see. I'm going to go up and around. After I open that beer I was talking about. Don't fall in the water. Stay put, you bastard. What pocket is my beer in? Oops, sorry. Let me zoom out a bit. You know, this whole life thing would be so much easier with just one extra hand. Alright. We got a relatively lukewarm 9.9% alcohol, Big Mango Beer Hug Mango IPA. Get some. Yeah, you can see the can there. Oh, bitter hipster crap. Oh well, it's 10% and it was free, so you know I'm drinking it. But no me gusta. Chaos, have you tried the new hard Mountain Dews? It's weird. I don't know how they're getting away with marketing all these traditional pop drinks as alcoholic drinks now, and like not having an issue with kids wanting them. I've seen alcoholic Code Red, I've seen alcoholic Mountain Dew, alcoholic Arizonas, like all this normal shit that you wouldn't blink an eye twice seeing a kid walking down the street with it. And yet, well, I'm doing it in hopes that ACR will see it after the fact. Like, he's raised a glass to me on a stream, so ACR, this one's for you. You like all this fruity hipster crap, shitty beer, so Prost, cheers, salute. I love you, Andrew. I'm just giving you shit. A couple more sips of this swill and we'll take a walk about. Yeah, absolutely no me gusta. I don't like it. I don't even really taste the mango in it. It's just bitter IPA. Ugh. So, shit. That I haven't seen yet, but that's even more insidious than Mountain Dew. Like, no rational adult drinks Sunny D. I mean, unless it's the only thing in the fridge when you got a hangover and the kids aren't home. But yeah, that's a tiny little bluegill in there swimming. Wish we could find some trout, but we'll take a peek at this waterfall around the corner here. Get up on the rocks if I can without making a fool of myself. Just because my phone supposedly is waterproof, I don't want to put it too much to the test. I went swimming with it once, but we're at a pretty low water condition late in the summer. But spring melt, this thing is an absolute deluge. It is amazing. Early season, like late June, the water's still pretty damn cold, but the flow reduces down enough. You can get in here and there's still a wall of water that cascades over you, so you can get behind it. Adventure Nomad, welcome, welcome. Well, I don't even know if I'm going to finish that whole beer. I don't like alcohol abuse, but I really don't like IPAs. It was free, and it is 9.9% ABV. If it tasted more like mango, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it just tastes like friggin' bitter, hoppy crap. Like, definitely a lager guy, without a doubt. But the deepest it gets in this spot, like maybe 8 or 9 feet down here, and then instantly shallow over here. Just enough to dip the beanbag. Alright. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a solution, and it's also not as cold as I'd like, but it's almost to the point where the water is warmer than the air temperature right now. It's been like 85 Fahrenheit, like till like 2 in the morning the last several days this week. And I've done lives from the same location, but just further up the stream. But now, tonight, I guess that streak finally broke, because it feels like it's 65 and dropping. And the water itself is like 50s, low 60s. So it's more comfortable staying submerged. But I love this place, man. Yeah, well, when I get back over there to the tripod, I'll set you down and you can count me off while I down that thing. I've only taken 2 sips so far, but I'm still trying to see some trout. But I think those little sunfish might be the biggest fish in this little section at the moment. I saw one trout earlier, but it's probably hiding. Got that other fall over here, but I'm going to try and make my way after I shotgun that beer, because I'm not unsteady enough on my feet already. This has been giving me more and more problems, and like 7 years ago, I did get it x-rayed, and the tech was like, dude, start saving up for a hip replacement in about a decade. And I'm like, dude, fuck you, I'm going mountain hiking. Like, and I've been dealing with it, but those trekking poles are coming in more and more handy off trail. So, yeah, tripod's here. I'm going to set you down. We're going to crush that IPA. Yeah, like, I don't like that tiny flavor. I have no problem, or it has been quite a while, so I doubt it would still be the case, but I used to not have a problem downing a 750 milliliter of 100 proof moonshine in a single sitting and still be functional the next day. Like, it never gives me a hangover. I'm not an excited drunk or angry drunk or anything. I just get tired and put myself to bed early if I have too much. But if I space it out, yeah, I can definitely put back some liquor, and I have to thank my Scottish heritage for that, I think. I like Guinness. It's the beer that eats like a meal, and yeah, I like making those Irish Boilermakers that have a name they really don't like us saying. But, alright, it's time to do as much damage to this Big Mango Beer Hug 9.9% IPA ass juice. Tastes more like beaver butt than fucking bear beer. I don't know. All right, that's that. Oh, hey, how we doing, Rick from Oregon? Yes, I am in New Hampshire. I am in the central west of New Hampshire right now. Not too far from the Connecticut River. This is actually one of the tributaries that feed it, but it has some local waterfalls, and it's gorgeous. We're going to take a walk around in just a minute here. I do want to get down to the lower falls, or at least show you from the top. This is the second set of falls. Further up, there's, another small falls, probably about 10 feet, 15 feet taller than this, but pretty minor flow, in a good pool. There's a nice channel of a river where I did my lives the last couple of nights, further upstream here. Oh, awesome, dude. In love with the outdoors and you grew up or lived in New Hampshire, Oregon's not a bad spot. Like, I really haven't had on the West Coast. I've been out there traveling for work, but never really got to have proper fun. But, New Hampshire's amazing. And my situation's a little unique. I've been living in my car for the last 4 years, including the winters. And, I've got a full-time job. I work 4 days a week, and every opportunity I get, I bugger off north to the White Mountains. I hammock camp, I tent camp, car camp, bivy bags, tarps, you name it. But I love finding little spots like this. So we're going to head down this way. I'm going to try and stay out of the water and off the rocks as most I can. And I'm going to go until my Starlink Wi-Fi signal starts dropping. We'll see how far I can get without falling on my ass without my trekking pole, because I am somewhat limited mobility. And because of that, I think I'm going to switch to my headlamp just until I get replacement waiting to happen and I'm already in line. So we'll take it nice and slow, because there are tons of slippery rocks. You like that one? Alright. Get down here a bit. Now, if I start seeing connection issues because I'm too far away from my Starlink, I'm going to have to turn back. But I think I got a pretty good even shot. The range on the Wi-Fi is supposed to be decent, but take my light out of my pocket. My Starlink is way up on top of the hill near where that chain of light starts. Yes. One of the things I want to do for my channel, or at least I've thought about doing, is shorts on each of the historic covered bridges. Take some tours, bust out the drones for a bit of footage, go over the history of them and stuff like that. But over the last year, I really haven't been doing a lot of pre-filmed content, just because I can't get around my dislike of editing on my phone. I need an editing laptop. Oh, shit, that could have been bad. That was my good hip trying to fail me. What the fuck? But anyway, yeah, I need a 4K capable editing laptop, and that's not in my budget and nowhere near on the priority list. So I've just been doing live streams and the occasional shorts on my phone, and I've been kind of happy with that. I can't lift my leg that high. Cripple coming through. All right. See if we can give you a bit of a view of what we got going on here. I'm sorry, Chaos. Usual problems on my side. All the buffering issues and everything. Okay, so I think I should have probably stayed up along the shore, come along here, because that'll give a better view of what's down this canyon down that way. Oh, dude, I love old architecture, especially the rural farm stuff. Like, some of the communities we have out here look like they haven't been updated or touched in 100 years, and it's fantastic. Like the old farmhouses, the old churches. Like, I grew up on the North Shore in Massachusetts, and there were like lots of salt boxes and old houses like that. But in New Hampshire, man, there's some gorgeous, gorgeous Yankee ingenuity up here. What the fuck am I doing? All right. I'm climbing down this way. I'm going to sit on my ass and slide down, because that's how cripples roll. Downhill awkwardly. Oof. All right. Yeah. My dumb self was able to manage getting my backpack and a tripod down that waterfall, no problem. But I didn't stash my trekking pole in the side pocket of my pack, knowing that I'd probably end up doing crap like this. But, oh yeah, we're about to get some good views here. Let's get out on this rock outcropping here. So we're going to go across this and up. Oh, dude, Chaos, that's a great idea. You know you can actually trust the build quality when the Amish are involved. At least with the framing. Because if you end up hiring the Mexies for the finishing, you're going to have a bad day. But the more work you can get the Amish to do on a property, yeah, you'll be in good shape. So this is a little bit of a drop down here into the next pools. Another set of small falls. And I did see a family fishing down this lower pool earlier today. But the walls on this are pretty darn steep. And it does connect to the Connecticut River further down, about 3/4 of a mile. And I have walked all the way from the Connecticut River up this stream. And after this point, there's only like one more small lower set of big pools of water. And then it's just regular small New England stream out to the Connecticut. But this area is fantastic. Like, I love the greenery up here. One of my favorite times of year, of course, is spring. But mid to late spring, when everything gets super verdant and green, everything starts blooming, all the flowers start opening up. But you still get frost on the tent when you wake up in the morning. It's the weirdest thing. Like, depending on where you're camping in the White Mountains. But, yeah. So we were swimming at the falls that's way over there, where that light is. We're just kind of exploring. But, yeah, this is what I do. Like, every chance I get, because I'm a long-term car dweller, I get out of it. I go camping, hiking, backpacking, fishing. I got an inflatable kayak, but I really haven't made use of it this year. I've been trying to get my daughter to go out, but she's a little leery of it. But she loves nature, and she loves river scrambling with me. So we spent a good portion of this afternoon at this very spot for our visitation, and it was a fantastic day. A fantastic day. We got here a little bit early, so we had the place to ourselves for a couple hours to explore, and then all of a sudden, it's almost like a bus unloaded. There are about 15 or 20 people here climbing and crawling around, people with dogs and stuff. I mean, not that bad, and she still had fun. A couple other little kids showed up. She played with her a little bit. And then, but at one point it did get too crowded. We decided to leave, go do lunch and whatnot. But, all right, let's get down this skinny little walkway back up over here. I'm going to follow the shoreline back to the swimming pool and the light setup that I have down there. Have another nail in the coffin. Off camera, because YouTube are little bitches about that. They'll let people smoke and vape all manner of crap except an actual friggin' cigarette. Which is ludicrous. I mean, I hate the fact that I'm smoking again. It took me years to quit. But when you're dealing with in court and a child's involved, stress is pretty high. So, yeah, that monkey jumped on my back again in February after years of not smoking. But quite honestly, I'm glad that I picked up a pack again instead of vaping, because that shit was insidious. That was horrific to try and quit. But it's an awesome place. So to anybody new and quietly watching, I'm going to be heading back towards the falls where I was swimming in. We'll be over there in a couple minutes. My name is John. This is my channel that I put almost no effort into. But I get up to some cool things. I get to a lot of cool places. And I get bored because I don't have anybody to take camping or hiking or backpacking with me. And, you know, talking to yourself gets old. So this whole live stream thing is kind of my first exposure to social media. Even though I grew up in the 80s and 90s building computers and stayed in the tech industry for my professional career for like 20 years, I'm becoming more of a Luddite. But there are some good sides to it. And that's live streaming and sharing stuff like this with you guys. Like, I wish I had more camera control through the YouTube app, because then you can actually change the exposure and I'd have much better lighting here. Because I've got a laser light projector. Yes, I've done Moosilauke. Dude, awesome mountain. Working on my 48 4Ks, my 52 with a view. Admittedly, because of the hip issues over the last couple years, I haven't gotten anywhere close to what I want to do every season. I haven't done any last season. I was planning a couple overnight trips in the Pemigewasset Wilderness. I've already done Owl's Head Mountain, which is usually one of the last two 4,000 footers everybody in New Hampshire does, because you've got like a 19-mile approach just to get to the 1 mile ascent of the mountain. It's one of the most remote 4,000 footers because it's dead smack in the middle of the Pemi Wilderness, and the Pemi Traverse is a 35-mile loop that goes around the summit rim, and you end up hitting like 7 or 9 4,000 footers on that 35-mile loop. But smack dab in the middle, there's lowlands that rise up into Owl's Head. Yeah, very underwhelming because it doesn't go alpine, so you're still below the tree line when you reach the summit and you've got no view. So, yeah, I'm going to do it again because my first trip was a little bunged up, but I do want to do Mount Isolation soon. That's another really long approach. It's the second most remote 4,000 footer in New Hampshire. But I haven't gotten my trail legs this season because I haven't really been hiking because I have a leg and a half because of this bum hip. Yeah, I got to double check the numbers on that. I think I did 26 miles for the whole loop with a couple of spurs that I checked out. So it might not be quite 9 miles to the actual begin of the ascent. But the ascent itself is a mile, and there is a rock face that you have to go up a bunch of scree on, and you do have a good view behind your back. But once you get off that face and onto the side of the mountain and in the woods, that's it. Like, you don't get any more view on Owl's Head. But well, that sounds like an unfortunate allergy to have, Nomad. Especially with a name like Adventure Nomad. But, I don't know. I definitely need to get back out there. I was thinking about doing a trip in the Pemi. They've recently changed their rules. Like out on the West Coast, they are incredibly adamant about your use of bear canisters, bear bags like Ursacks and stuff. But in New Hampshire, traditionally we've always been using bear bags and regular hang bags. 12 feet up, 6 feet out, yada yada yada. But the Pemigewasset Wilderness, including all of the 4,000 footer summits that ring the Pemi Wilderness, now you're required to carry a bear canister. And it's the only place in New Hampshire currently. But now that that's gone through, I'm wondering in the future how many more places are going to require it. Because apparently Yogi and Boo Boo have gotten pretty industrious and they've figured out that whole bear hang thing, and it's not a problem anymore. But I have to tell you, I'm really pissed that the laser lights aren't showing up on film. Oh, if I zoom in enough. But then you can't tell anything else that's going on, of course. So maybe I'll work on that. But oh, chaos. Adventure couch potato? Alright. Well, Golden, if you had made the request a little bit more politely, I would have been happy to accommodate you. But I'm here chatting with friends. Like, I'm not doing this to build a channel. I'm not doing this to, like, gain subs and shit. I'm just here shooting the shit with the boys. And you come in acting like a fucking douchebag, and they're gonna put the smack on you. Like, I'm gonna ask they hold fire for a little bit. Maybe you can redeem yourself. I'd be glad to give you the opportunity. But, you come in swinging like that, and you're gonna fucking get smacked. Like, just ask. That's all. I'm running my mouth because I'm talking to the guys. Like, I don't know how well my voice comes out over the water sounds in the mic. But if you had said, hey, this is peaceful, you mind if we just listen for a minute? I would have been happy to accommodate. Like, you got to learn how to approach people in life, man. Just because the internet's anonymous, it doesn't give you the right to be a fucking prick. Oh no, Dubsack, what's up, brother? You didn't miss much. Just some dude saying that I'm running my mouth over the fucking noise of the water and shit. And it's like, well, if you wanted to hear the sounds, just say, hey, that sounds beautiful. You mind shutting up for a second? Like, but he just immediately went with, shut up for a minute. So, fuck him. That's alright. I don't see those bluegill hiding over here like they were before. Got a couple little fingerlings swimming around. The crayfish like the river upstream. They don't really typically stay in these big pools. Oh, there are those little bluegills. I guess that's what I think they are. Let's see if I can zoom in. And then... I know, strange that he's not here, given how many shields just probably smacked him simultaneously. That's alright. Like, I've got a higher tolerance than what Tom puts up with in his lives. Because, like, I'll let a motherfucker cook. Let's see what you got. I don't mind. But if you're just going to be rude, like, especially if you want something from me, like, if you want to just listen to the sound of the waterfall, say that politely, and I'd be happy to fucking accommodate. But you come in acting like a prick, and I'm going to treat you like one. I mean, again, I'd be willing to give the guy an opportunity to redeem himself, but it seems like he's buggered off. But that's what you get with random strollers, doom scrollers and shit. But, you know... Yeah, Rick, there are some gold-bearing streams up here, but we don't really have a lot of alluvial gold. It's pretty much like an awful lot of really super fine flour. I mean, you'll maybe occasionally on a good river find like 1/10 of a gram nugget, and that's going to be the best thing you find all season. At least from what I've read up. I have been wanting to go gold panning up here for a long time, and it is on my list of stuff to do. Where are you going, little guy? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, he's gone. Never mind. But it's definitely something I've been wanting to get to. And yes, we have been talking about that earlier. I'm going to zoom you back. What is this shit? Most people don't get to experience things like this. And like that's why I love doing my live streams. I get to hang with friends, and I get to share shit that nobody will come with me to do. There's some cool stuff. I'm getting that light underwater. Yeah, no, it looked like it. I realized that he retracted his comment after the fact. I mean, so, all right, part of that, like, I appreciate that he decided to self-correct, but he didn't follow up, either with an apology or a more polite version of his original request. And if he had done that, well, yeah, I would have, because I can definitely clip the shit out of this live and get some mileage out of it if I wanted to. So, yeah, a couple quiet moments with just the waterfall rushing, fantastic. Ground fog, thank you very much. I appreciate your company here today. I will stay safe. I only had that one terrible IPA, so I think I'll be good to climb that rock face back up, even with my bum hip. So, yeah. But isn't it in Oregon pretty much every season is rainy season? Like that would get on me. Like just the constant wet, the constant rain, because isn't the climate like temperate rainforest almost? Like it's, don't get me wrong, it's something I absolutely want to experience. Hey, we can actually see some of the fucking laser lights now. I've only been bitching about it the entire, son of a... Alright, never mind. Well, Rick, if you ever do get a chance to swing back through this way, feel free to hit me up. If you go to my channel description, in the info, my email address is there. And even if you only got a day or two, we'll find a little honey hole for some trout. We'll find a little day hike we can do. Yeah, because I always do this shit alone, and it's getting a little boring. Thank you, Dub. I got some $20 canopy string lights from Walmart that I use while I'm using my 10x10 square leg canopy. I've got a cabin tent system that I use just when I'm camping with my kids. Yeah, I had those in white lights, and then I saw these on the shelf at 20 bucks a piece. And they said that they're highly water resistant. The battery packs are not in the water. They do have a waterproof gasket on them, but I would say they're splash and rain resistant because they're meant to be hung on a canopy. But they do change and fade colors. I just kind of locked them because I like the way that the blue looks. But they will do a slow fade through every color, and you can then pause it. They don't have like separate like glow and fade modes and shit like that. It just does a slow fade from color to color, and then you pause it on the one you like, or you just let it keep fading. These pucks are waterproof swimming pool lights, and they will go through different patterns. They come with a remote control, but these idiots, I mean the pucks are only 10 bucks, but the idiots that made them made the pucks waterproof, but not the remote. So I ended up dunking one remote as soon as I got down here, setting up before I hit the go on live. And I ended up skunking the first remote. Thankfully, I brought the second one, because of course, 2 is 1 is inside the Ziploc bag. But, yeah, for 10 bucks a piece for the puck lights, I don't know how many times I'm going to use them actually. But I did want to come down here, especially because I spent the entire day, the afternoon here with my daughter swimming around and exploring a little bit further upriver and downriver. But I knew the lives that I did the last couple nights were further upstream. They were a little bit underwhelming as far as like scenery goes, in my opinion. But I'm also kind of like jaded because I've seen so many beautiful things. It's hard to really quantify and then imagine what other people think of the same impact, the same view. But like, this is fucking awesome. Yes, dude, Rick, I've been hearing about that. Is it Kansas or Iowa that's got the 1 million acre fire burning right now? It's the largest in United States history, but like a lot of the agricultural land up there is burning the hell up. But on the West Coast, like there are so many wildfires going on right now, and everybody's really, really, really quick to say that it's all environmental change, it's man-made impact, and so on and so forth. Europe is on fire right now. Spain, France, Portugal. But what they're finding, 80% of it, at least in France and Spain, has been deliberate arson. Deliberate arson. The thing that's going on in Iowa or wherever, that is raising some serious bells because it's on the Ogallala water aquifer, which like supplies 30% of the water for that part of the entire area, multi-state region. And it is also where most of the soy and alfalfa are grown for our beef stock, our cattle. And we've already been having issues importing fertilizers. We've already been having issues in the cotton crop in the United States. And now all of a sudden, the current rates of stock corn are set on fire. However, again, going back to that aquifer, it has some of the most reliable water in the region. So what happens when all of that land is burned down? That's all I'm wearing fucking data centers. I almost guarantee the data center is probably going to go in there after that meter burns. They're going to tap down, drill into that aquifer, and they're going to... I'm going off on a tangent. I'll pull myself back from that, but if you know, you know. So, I forget the guy's name from earlier, but I am actually going to shut up for a minute so you guys can just hear the water. I'm going to put a nail in the coffin while I do. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the sounds. I wish more of the laser lights were showing up. Good on you, Rick. Good on you, dude. That's awesome. Chaos, pass the fuck out, brother. No harm, no foul. I don't care about watch hours. I don't care about views and likes and stuff like that. I'm here to hang out. I don't care if my channel ever gets monetized. Like, that's not my bag. I'm just here for the connection. So the fact that you stayed as long as you did means more than gold, dude. You don't have to leave me running. Because, man, I'd feel sorry for you for the dreams you're going to have if you hear my voice as you're going to sleep, man. But, again, brother, thank you for swimming by, and we'll talk soon. So feel free to chime in on the chat. I'm going to stay quiet for a minute, and hopefully the mic will just pick up the view of the water. And I'll respond to your comments in about 5 minutes time when I finish the video. With all that ASMR shit, but I'll give you something to listen to, folks. Here's some soothing sounds from Mother Nature. Best of luck for us all. Hydration is something I am not good at following for myself. Like, I'm always on point with it for my daughter. I'm there to help other hikers. I've got rehydration salts that I've actually had to administer on a couple hikes. Yeah, I don't follow my own advice with it. I didn't bring any water with me down here tonight. I did bring my Sawyer Squeeze Mini, I believe, or Micro. I think I got a Micro with me, and my Smart Water bottle. But at this point, the water temperature is warmer than the air, so I don't think that's going to be too refreshing. I only had that one IPA, so I'll be fine to climb the rock face back up. We'll give you a little bit of spin here, but I have to climb all of that to get back up and out of here. Because unfortunately, that little waterfall, not that one, that little waterfall is a bit too steep to climb. But even with my bum hip, I can still manage to get up this rock face. But for anybody new that's joining in, we will take a walkabout and see a bit more of the scenery here. I'm just putting a nail in the coffin off screen so the YouTube overlords don't smack my screen down. They'll put up with people vaping or doing drugs right in front of the camera, but heaven forbid you walk across it with a cigarette in your hand or your mouth. But this is a beautiful spot, man. And my daughter absolutely loved it. Is it? Yes. Yes, it is almost 1 o'clock, Rick. And I plan on getting to work somewhere between 7 to 9. Things have been crazy. I've been doing lots of 12-plus hour days, a couple of 14-hour days here and there. My normal schedule says I start at 9, but the chaos, not theory, happens well before I walk through the door, and I'm the guy that stamps out all the fires. But, sorry, we'll put that back on frame. That probably looks a little bit better. That's good chaos. I haven't tried it yet. Normally I keep a pack or two of Pedialyte in my first aid kits, and then I have actual oral rehydration salts. And then sometimes what I'll use are the little like Gatorade powder packets, like not them, but you know, off-brand and stuff. So I think we've gotten to the point where the air temperature and the water temperature are equal. Unfortunately, I can't pull up a weather app or it'll mess with my stream here. But it was about 65 in the parking lot when I arrived, air temperature. Oh yeah, Dub, we spent the entire afternoon here. Like, I didn't eat all day. We didn't end up leaving until 3 o'clock to go and have lunch. And she is fearless. She was scrambling up and down the rock faces, and like, it was really hard. It usually is hard for me to keep up with her, but like, she was so excited, and all she could keep doing is saying, "I love nature, I love nature." And like, every time, like, my heart grew 2 sizes, you know, like the Grinch. Like, I'm a pretty jaded son of a bitch in a lot of areas of life, but my daughter melts me every time because of the freshness that she sees everything through her eyes with. And being able to share some of my favorite places with her is amazing. Unfortunately, because we have such limited time on our visitations, I can't take her as far north as I would like to, because it would be almost all windshield time. We'd have an hour on location and then have to drive back. But I've been fighting in court to get weekend visitations with her. And if that does go, you bet your ass I am going to be showing her some of the most beautiful places this state has to offer. Yeah, Dub, the last couple nights have been like 80 or 85 degrees at 2 in the fucking morning. It's been awful. And the humidity has been oppressive as hell. It was humid earlier, but the temperature started dropping. It fell out of the air. There was dew condensing on my car as I was driving around. And then I got here a little bit later than I hoped. Came down here, climbed down, set up the lights, realized I forgot some shit in the car, had to hike all the way back up and come back down before I could start the live. Because I realized, like, it's Sunday night, butt crack 30 in the morning. I'm not going to get a lot of viewers, but that's kind of the way I prefer it. Because only people I know show up. And, you know, I can kind of feel more comfortable. Like, I feel weird talking with strangers, but now that I've had a chance to get to know you guys on other channels for quite a while now, it's been amazing. Maybe he's under this shelf somewhere. Let's see if we can slowly make our way through and find that trout. Because he's the biggest thing I've seen in here so far. I've seen some tiny, tiny little, what I assume to be bluegill, and then like fry and fingerlings of God knows what. But nothing bigger than what I'm packing, and then that brookie showed up. Rick, is that your first encounter with black bear? When I was hiking in Ossipee, New Hampshire, near Castle of the Clouds, I had my first encounter with a mother bear and 2 cubs. I had done about 22 miles on a day hike, which in that area is pretty easy because a lot of it is old logging trails, a lot of old rail beds, so it's pretty quick to stack up the miles. But it was closing on dusk. I'm losing light. I'm about 2 to 3 miles away from the parking lot, and all I have to do is go up trail a couple hundred yards to get to the next spur that leads me down and out. And I look up, and about 70 yards in front of me is a mama with 2 cubs, and as soon as they clocked me, the cubs treed. And then mama just sat down on her haunches right at the base of the tree, looking at me like, fucking try us. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna park my ass right here. And so of course I'm talking to the bear and trying to say, hey bear, like, get going, because I need to get past you so I can GTFO. And the cubs just stayed there for like 15 minutes. So I actually started closing the distance. Of course I had my bear spray in hand. I was also clacking my trekking poles. And I got within about 50 yards, and finally the cubs decided to take themselves out of the tree. And then they sat near mom for about 2 minutes. I'm still talking, like, not too loud, but like, hey bear, I gotta get out of here. Hey bear, the sun's setting. Hey bear, let me go the fuck home, I'm hungry. And finally, they started going uphill a little bit, so I kept slowly closing distance, continuing to make noise, still had the spray at the ready, and they went about 40 or 50 yards uphill, but parallel to the trail I was on, and they ended up following me for about 300 yards uphill until I hit that spur trail. And by the time I hit that spur trail and started going downhill, let me tell you what, I picked up some speed. Oh, Lyman's really nice area. I haven't had any encounters with black bears in the last couple years. It's been about 3 years. But moose this year, oh my god, the moose fucking everywhere. I've seen about 14 or 15 of the gangly looking bastards. Some of them have been yearlings. Most of them were like, oh, there's a trout down there. There's a couple trout. That's where they're hiding. Oh, they don't like my light at all. There's about 5 or 6 of them down there. You can't really see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. Some on the top of the water here is going to make it a bitch to see, but there are some brookies in here. And they're probably tweaking about this 1800 lumen torch in my hand. But normally they like hiding under this log, or at least that's where I saw all the fry, but I think I've scared all the trout out of here now. Yeah, I don't see any of them in here. There were just about 5 or 6, between like 6 to 10 inches long. I mean, 2 of them would make a decent fish taco meal for one person. And that's normally my go-to. During fishing season, I always have a Coleman double burner in the trunk of my car with cast iron, because I'm ADD as hell and I never know exactly when I'm actually going to go fishing. Oh, this one. He does not want to be in the spotlight. I'm following him, and he's doing his damnedest to get out of it. Yeah. Zoom. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. Where's my spot? Lost him. Oh, there he is. See, I wasn't bullshitting. But he's swimming circles trying to get away with his damn light. Kind of reminds me of the Warner Brother cartoons back from World War II, where they're all like, turn out that light! But anyway, let's zoom you back out. Check out this shit, because it is beautiful. And then that goes all the way up there. There's falls hiding around the end of that rope there. There's falls that are going down here. There's this little trickle that zigzags its way down the rock face there. And then, whoop, whoop. Come on, you cripple, don't fall. There's those small falls here. There's one more slightly larger fall further upstream. I don't think I'm going to go back down that way tonight, but there's some nice pools down there. I'm going to adjust my footwear, bear with me. Yeah, all right. But this is a beautiful spot. The air and the water temperature are almost the same at this point. Like, it's gorgeous. Let's see. Take a peek for a couple more fish, maybe. No. But I am surprised to see that many brookies congregating there, because for the last 2 seasons I haven't seen squat here, because they haven't been stocking further upstream, because there's another river that connects to this, and then this feeds into the Connecticut about 3/4 mile downstream. Get on the outcropping that I got all my crap parked on. It goes up and up and up, and that is steep as hell, let me tell you. And it's not showing up on the camera nearly as good, because the YouTube app doesn't utilize most of the camera settings. Like, I've got an S25 Ultra with an absolutely incredible camera. The photos and videos that it takes natively are fantastic. But when you pull up the YouTube app, You have no control over aperture. You've got no control over lighting, contrast, shutter speed, any of that. No control over ISO. So trying to use the YouTube app filming at night for a live sucks. But, oh man, it is chilly. It is chilly standing out of this water. Voiceover Van Deen, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by for a quick minute. I will be sure to post this live public after the fact. I have a couple others from just further upstream from this week that I'll also make live. I just haven't gotten around to it. But it's a beautiful spot. I've got it all to myself. Me and my crippled hip have to make it up that rock face on our way out. But yeah, I'm cold standing out of the water because the water is now warmer than the air. It's about 60 to 65 degrees out, maybe. The temperature's been dropping pretty steadily, and I'm not sure what it is. I can't pull up my weather app while I'm on the live. But this is what I love to do. I'm an unhoused outdoorsman that's been living in my car for the last 4 years in the state of New Hampshire. Summer, winter, spring, and fall. I got a full-time job 4 days a week and more now that I've got overtime for the first time since COVID. But every opportunity I get out of my car. I do hiking, camping, backpacking, hammock camping, tent camping, bivy bags. This late spring, I got a hot tent with a stove. So you'll be seeing more of that this late fall and all throughout the winter, I'm sure. Because that setup is amazing. I love it. But I find places like this tucked away in New Hampshire. Little gems. And I'm always alone, so I might as well share it with somebody because this is too beautiful not to. I got some cheap waterproof lights to dress up the place. Not that it really needs it. But give you guys something to look at in the dark. I know I'm not really the best host, but I'm not trying to be. I'm just here to hang out. I don't care if you like, I don't care if you subscribe. I appreciate if you do, don't get me wrong. But I'm not trying to build a brand, I'm not trying to build a channel. I'm not trying to stump because I'm unhoused and ask for digital donations and all that crap. I'm just here doing what I love because I'd be doing this anyway, whether or not the camera's rolling. But Connie Flynn, welcome aboard. We are at a beautiful little swimming hole I love in New Hampshire. Dressed it up with a little bit of lighting here. But there's a little waterfall there. There's another one around the corner here we'll go to in just a minute. There's another one over here. I mean, they're small, but the water flow right now, we're late season in the summer, so it is down quite a bit. A majority of this is between like 3 to 5 feet deep, and then it gets about like 9 feet or so down there. There's another set of falls way down there. We took kind of a brief look, but I'm somewhat mobility limited, and I don't feel like going down there without my trekking poles, which I left way up there like a dumbass. But I was still able to scramble down all this rock wall to get down here. And it's fantastic. The last couple nights have been really warm, like 85 degrees with oppressive humidity. And I did a few lives, but tonight, that finally broke. It's maybe 60, 65 degrees. It's almost to the point where the water is warmer than the air. Standing out of the water as long as I have, I am absolutely chilly. But I got dry clothes waiting for me. I got a towel up at the top of the rocks up there somewhere with my Starlink. And yeah, it's an awesome spot. And yeah, I spent the entire afternoon here with my daughter, roaming up and down the river. She made it up and down this thing like a damn billy goat. Let me tell you what, 7 years old, that child is a force of nature unto herself. And so she climbed down the steepest part, actually, right down here. And I ended up coming down this crevice here and then just kind of sliding on my ass down into the water. But fantastic day, fantastic visitation, and I'm glad that I was able to share this spot with her. She absolutely loved it. She was running up and down the river just screaming, "I love nature! I love nature!" And like, as a father who is an outdoorsman at heart, to hear those words come out of your child's mouth is one of the most amazing things other than "Daddy, I love you." Like, it melts you. It really does. But yeah, so being able to share my favorite spot with my daughter was like, it's been a fantastic day. Like, absolutely fantastic day. But I mean, even if I were alone, like, this stuff is what geeks me out. Like, I love the outdoors. I love witnessing the effects of the raw power of nature. Like, this whole canyon that I'm in has been carved out by God knows how many years of incredible floods and flows and everything. Sorry, I'm losing my footing. But yeah, I'm geek, man. I love this shit. Maybe we can put some eyes back on the trout that we're hiding down over in here in the pools. But they really do not like this flashlight. As soon as I get a spot on them, they try to bugger off. We did see some bluegills hiding by a rock over there. We'll check over there when I show you the waterfall that's hidden behind that face there. But we're going to check one more time for some trout up here. And then we'll get wet again because it's actually warmer in the water. But let's see if we can pin some trout down on camera. I don't see anything right here. They might have tucked back in further up. There's one. He don't like my camera. Let's zoom in. What's the one? Sorry. It's difficult for me to hold the camera in one hand and then the light in the other and keep them both on target. I am not ambidextrous and I do not have dual wielding endorsements. But there were 5 or 6 trout in here. Oh, there's one. Hey, fishy, fishy, fishy. Rick, I appreciate it. They're just cheap Walmart specials. Lost River Gorge is fantastic, dude. Love it. Absolutely love it. Haven't been there in about 6 or 7 years. But I've passed by it frequently. But that is one of my favorite fish to eat. Brook trout. Oh, there's another one somewhere. There's a couple of them hiding down there. But, like, my dad wasn't good for much. He never really taught me how to do fishing. I did a little bit of fishing when I was in the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts and whatnot. I've always had a Zebco 202 or a 303 kicking around. But, I mean, it was mostly an excuse for my dad to day drink. Not that he ever needed one. But when I lost the house and the ex took the kids and I started living in the car, well, I had a lot of free time. So I've been camping and fishing like an SOB. And trout I targeted because they're one of the easiest fish to cook if you can catch them. You leave them, you don't have to scale them. You leave the skin on. They're easy to cook. If you cook them right, you can get the pin bones out without any issue. You don't have to bother filleting them. You can cook them whole. And brookies and rainbows for the last couple years have been amazing. I've still never caught a lake. I've still never caught a brown trout. But I have caught both stocked and native brookies and rainbows. But I haven't been fishing nearly as much as I'd like to in the last couple years. This season's been a little messed up. Now it's because of work, because I'm just constantly on the clock, doing 60, 70-hour weeks. And then I got a day of visitation with my daughter, so I haven't been able to get up to the mountains quite nearly as much as I want, so I can do some fishing. Why don't I come out to Oregon and fight fire? You hike and camp out and get paid $500 a day? That's almost worth risking my life for. But no, in all seriousness, like at one point I actually did want to get some training and do volunteer SAR work. But now, because I'm basically in line for a hip replacement surgery in the next couple years, like 2 to 3 years max, like I haven't been hiking that much. One thing I did think about doing is I would love to volunteer for a season in a fire tower. So hikers love collecting their patches. There's actually a New Hampshire fire tower challenge that includes. There's only like 14 actively manned fire towers left in the state. We have other ways to figure out and triangulate where the wildfires are happening now, whether it's by satellite or what have you. So a lot of them have been decommissioned and taken down, but 14 of them are still active. But the New Hampshire Fire Tower Hiking Challenge is you have to go to 20 sites, either active or former, and if you log the sites and submit them, you can receive basically a merit badge, a patch for hiking all the fire towers. And I've got 6 under my belt right now, more in the works that I've been planning. But Mount Cardigan was my first and one of my most impressive to start, because it was actually manned when I went there, and I was invited in for about a half an hour to work with the ranger that was stationed at it. He showed me the azimuth table and the way they sight and get their bearings, and then talk to the other fire towers so that they can triangulate a location. And it was a really cool experience. The only problem was it was one of my first hikes that season, and I went up the backside of the mountain on the most difficult trail, Holt Trail, H-O-L-T. Man, that was a ball buster. The beginning of it was pretty normal fare, but about a third of the way into it, it started into becoming a moss-covered boulder scramble, and by the time you get within like 600 yards of the top, it was basically crevicing, like going up 45-plus degree slopes, diagonally in cracks in the rock with just razor edges to hold on to by hand. And me being semi-crippled with my bum hip, like, it was a challenge. And even on the boulder field down at the bottom, that moss-covered boulders, I realized that I was past the point of no return. Like, I checked trail reports and stuff, but I was not prepared for that hike that day, especially not that early in the season. But once I realized there was no turning around, the only way out is through. So I had to go up and continue the hike. And like the last 300 yards of that on Holt Trail on Cardigan whooped my butt, but I made it. And then I finally got up to the fire tower and was let in. You know, I haven't been to New York in quite a while. I did some work out near Niagara Falls, but I haven't done any hiking or any outdoor activities at all in New York. And very sparingly, even though I literally live on the border of Vermont. Like 3/4 of a mile down this stream is the Connecticut River, which forms the majority of the border north to south on the western side of New Hampshire and the eastern side of Vermont. And I don't know. Like, I'm not going to get into politics and stuff like that, but I'd rather spend my money in my own state, because I know the type of politicians that are in Vermont, and I've met far too many Vermonters. Like, I've driven in over 30 states in the United States, and Vermonters are the ones that get my hackles up the most. Like, they always drive like they're in the middle of a blizzard, no matter what the conditions are. But then every once in a while, they pretend they're like driving the 405 in LA, or they're like driving Sturrow Drive in Boston, or they're going down 495. Like, and then they just become like fucking speed demons, and then cut you off from 3 lanes over. But very interesting. The only land I ever looked in New York was a couple of decommissioned Atlas missile silos, because there were a couple on sale simultaneously. And, you know, everybody's got the fantasy of what they're going to do with their lottery money if they ever win. Well, I never play, so I'm never going to win. But still, I was fantasizing about getting a decommissioned Atlas silo and then building it up into something and having fun with it. But, like, even though I'm unhoused and I live in my vehicle, my name is on the title deed to a house that has doubled in price since I purchased it before COVID. But it's under adverse possessions, shall we say. But 3 kids have a nice roof over their house, and so I'm not trying to push the issue at the moment. And we'll leave that discussion there. I mean, yes, I'm unhoused. Yes, I live in my vehicle. Yes, I go camping. But I've been doing it for 4 years, and I've come to the decision that it has been entirely by choice because I've been so comfortable with it. Being a lifelong hiker, backpacker, and camper, and having over 25 years of quality gear tucked away, like, I live pretty well. Oh, there goes my battery. Good thing I brought another one. That 1800 lumens chews it up quick. But, so we'll work over to the replacement. Throw the headlamp on for a minute. Yes, Mark O'Connor, absolutely. I wasn't really going to bring it up, but woke AF, and that ain't my bag, baby. Like, I do not like spending my money there. I don't want to give them tax money on my purchases. Like, I'm very much prefer to support New Hampshire local businesses at every opportunity. Like, if I'm at a big box store, yeah, I'm going to buy shit that's made in China. I get it. Sometimes it's convenient. Sometimes there's lack of options when you're living in a kind of a rural area. But for the most part, whenever I do have the opportunity and the funds, I absolutely love supporting the small businesses. I go to the farm stand. Even when I don't really need firewood for my camp, I'll stop by that one house where I go with the place and just buy $5 or $10 lump of wood because I know it's going to help out the family. Jam and honey stems all over the place. Maple syrup, of course. Like all the finer things in life, really. Man, I am taking on a chill though. I think we'll be wrapping this up before too long. Well, in the winter, okay, so before this experience, before I began living in my vehicle, I was a fair weather hiker and camper. If I can avoid any winter hiking and stuff, I did. And I think primarily that happened because I got frostbite on my first winter camp out as a Boy Scout. It was mild, it was just fingers and toes. But it made me avoid winter sports and activities almost entirely for 20 years plus. I never got into skiing or snowboarding or stuff like that. I did work at a winter amusement park that had like snow tube sledding and whatnot, but I was basically a lift jockey hooking people up and sending them to the hospital after they get down to the bottom. But, well, it depends where in New Hampshire you are, Rick. Like, I'm a recovering masshole, born, raised, and escaped, but I went through a few other states for a few years at a time before I came up to New Hampshire, so I'm not your typical masshole that invades New Hampshire and turns it into a liberal cesspool. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into the politics. I try to keep that off my channel. I am very opinionated, and I know that would drive a wedge between a lot of people. I'm just trying to connect on my love of the outdoors here. So we'll leave it at that. But I ain't no Bernie bro. I ain't going to spend my fucking tax money for your socialist bullshit. Like, I'm happy saying that out loud. I'll scream that from the fucking rafters. But I gotta say, I love the fact that they maintain their roads so well. New Hampshire DOT sucks balls. The quality of the roads here are awful. Vermont is beautiful to drive through. And I have done a couple of like mountain road explorations. I've done a couple of hammock camping and stuff like that in Vermont. But I tend to stay on this side of the border even though it's so close. The only reason I crossed the border to Vermont is New Hampshire's weird. We have basically a state liquor commission. So we've got stoners to the left of us, tokers to the right, but here we are, stuck in the middle with booze. And, like, that's all well and good, but I try not to indulge that too much. So, every once in a while, it's nice to go herbal, and so I'll stray across the border to Vermont, especially when I got breakout pain for my hip. But I'm such a flyweight, I'll get a 1 gram pre-roll, bust that up, and it'll last me for longer than a week. Longer than a week, because I'll just put it in a little glass 1-hitter, and I'm fine. So I'll save it for like the end of a couple days when I know I'm going to be hiking and really active, or put it away just in case like I overdo myself at work or what have you. But like other than that, I don't really find any draw to go over to Vermont. I do want to explore more of the state parks. Like, it's a beautiful state. I think my issue is more with the governance and the people. But, you know, I've gotten a bit more political than I intended to from the start, so I'll shut up on that. But beautiful state, awful drivers, awful governance. Moving along. Yeah, true, but a lot of those roads get washed out, dude. Like, I do think that Vermont did flood damage during, like, spring melt and stuff like that. New Hampshire does get its fair share, don't get me wrong. But they put up with an awful lot more from Mother Nature than we seem to over here. Mark, traveling nurses make bank. I didn't realize that. Like, I didn't realize just how much they can make. My ex used to be in the medical industry, and she would occasionally work with groups of traveling nurses that would come through, and she'd have to train them up. And she started telling me, like, this is what they're making. And it's like, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? But I'm kind of jealous. I wish I had a van. I've been doing 4 years in a friggin' Subaru Forester. Now, I do have a tri-fold bed that I made. I've got a 6-inch memory foam mattress that flips out. I've got winter-rated gear. I've got down bags, down to 0. In the winter, I leave all 4 windows of my car cracked because there's nothing worse than scraping the frozen condensation of your own breath off of the windows before you can get moving. Like, it's bad enough you got to clear the exterior of the vehicle because of snow and ice, but when you got to scrape the insides of the window, that's a problem. So even in really cold temperatures, I'll leave the windows cracked and a fan going just so it doesn't build up. I've done hammock camping down to negative 15 degrees during massive snowstorms that ended up being 2 foot over 3 days. Yes, Rick, it is still highly illegal in this state. By rights, they can haul you in. Some cops, they might just have to snuff it out, rub it out on the ground, and clean it, pump it, and whatnot. But if you're traveling with weight, you're fucked. And, yeah, it's tough because every state around New Hampshire has legal recreational or medicinal. And, like, I'm not, like, like the typical Libby stoner or whatever, but every once in a while it's nice not to have my hip hurt. And I don't take over-the-counter medications, like Tylenol and Advil don't do much for me. The couple of times I've had surgeries, I realized because my Scottish heritage and the fact that I'm a partial redhead, most, like, opiate-based pain meds don't work on me, period. So when I went to go have surgery, they went straight to the fence. Straight to it. It's like, what? But yeah, because you were coming too during, and we had to knock your butt out. So, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. The Big Island? What Big Island, Rick? But, I mean, don't get, like, I tried to play my work schedule. They've been pretty flexible with me. So in the winters, I've been working the third shift. That way, I'm inside and getting paid during the 100 hours of the day. And in the winter, because of the light and everything, it was easier to sleep in your vehicle during the day because the days were clear. Now, I transferred to first shift. It's in the summer. It's not working. It's not in town or Boston. And so the sun is coming up soon. By like 7 in the morning, I try to park with no shame, but when you're living in a vehicle, like, in the beginning I was a lot more confused about it. I pretty much had a goal where I didn't want to stay. I would never stay in the same place twice in a row, and I would never stay in the same place more than 2 times a week. Because you don't want to build patterns, you don't want to wear out your welcome. Because the stores get to know who you are when you come to the market, you refill a water bottle. Any of the locals nearby start taking something that I created to agree with me. But they pay attention to your vehicle more. And like, I definitely subscribe to the gray man theory. Try and be as innocuous as possible. Because there's a lot of assumptions made when somebody says they're homeless. And I despise every one of them. Because I despise the kind of people that it's valid for. I'm not a junkie. I don't have mental health issues. Like, I'm not shitting on people that do have mental health issues. I should qualify that. But like, I'm not a junkie. I'm not a drunk. I'm not sucking off the taxpayer's tit. I've never taken any form of public assistance. Occasionally, I will go to a shelter so that I can use a clean shower, but that's about it. Maybe a food pantry every couple months, just because the inflation has been making the cost of food go through the friggin' roof, and everybody at this point needs help. But beyond that, no. I've got a job. I've got skills. I've got equipment. Like, I'm better off than 99% of the people in my city. Golden Winged Spirit Orb, are you the one that came by earlier requesting to hear the sounds of the waterfall instead of me droning on? But I'm wondering what you're referring to when I talk about my brothers and sisters. Because I have absolutely no compassion for an active addict of any kind. I know we all go through our own struggles, but being a survivor of a lot in my childhood that had a lot to do with substance abuse and stuff, and then having multiple issues in relationships in my life where it fell apart because of someone else's substance abuse, like, I've got no tolerance for it anymore. And the way that they are coddled, the way that they are treated, like, I know we're supposed to love our neighbor, I know we're supposed to respect and help each other, but there comes a point when certain people just cannot be helped. And I'm getting a little bit quicker to make that call. Does that make me a worse person? Well, that's not for me to decide. You can judge me, because I don't care what you think. I still live myself by a set of morals and values. And I try not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I will give everybody a chance, because we're all human beings, and we deserve, at the minimum, a chance. But when you prove yourself not worth it, I'm going to take you at face value. And it is what it is. Like, I wish people had more support so that they could get out of those situations. Like, I understand that in a lot of cases how it happens. Like, I'm not dispassionate to that level. But there are some motherfuckers out there that cannot be saved. I gotta get my passport renewed, Rick, because that sounds like a deal and a half, man. And I've only been up to Canada. Unfortunately, I haven't done any true international travel, because, you know, Canada's basically the 51st state, eh? As long as you stay away from the Quebecois. Not a fan of those people, but, yeah. Like, that sounds like it was a hell of an experience. Guatemala. Unfortunately, my Spanish is little to non-existent. But I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to shut the hell up and I'm going to get a bit closer to that waterfall so you have something cool to look at. I'll try and stay off camera a little bit, but give you guys a moment to enjoy. Hey Golden, I saw that the first time you posted it. Spamming is a quick way to get banned on this channel. I'm pretty tolerant of a lot of stuff. Like, you don't need to repost. I saw it the first time. Do it again and I'll boot you. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to do what's right. If you have something else to say, I'm happy to hear it. Engage me. I'm not afraid of a spirited conversation. But you just keep going on with that, and we're not going to find a way to meet in the middle. Sorry, if you're still here, Mark, I can't really turn away from my mic because it's mounted to the headband of my headlamp right above my right eye. So it might have just been muffled because my hand was near my face because of the cigarette. But anyway, beautiful spot. I'm going to grab the flashlight and show you around for one last quick tour before I start packing up. It is chilly. The water temperature and the air temperature are about the same at about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm no longer warmer in the water than I am in the air. So I need to pack up, dry up, and get ready for work at 7 in the morning. But this is a beautiful spot. I got it all to myself. I spent the afternoon here with my daughter, just roaming up and down the river, listening to her scream, "I love nature, I love nature," and my heart grew 3 sizes. But beautiful waterfall. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to scale those rocks with my bum hip to get out of here. And right where that light is, the water's about 7 feet deep, so I'm getting soaked before I get dry. But got this. Oops, sorry, we're a little tilted here. We'll go and walk around that corner. There's another waterfall I'll show you in just a moment. And then we'll say good evening. And I really do appreciate the company. I'm out in places like this alone far too often. It was fantastic being able to share this with my daughter today. Because most of the time, the places I want to take her are just too far. It would be all windshield time. We'd have an hour on location and then have to turn around and take her back home. So I've been trying to find more little hidden gems closer instead of just in the White Mountains. But there we go. There's a couple nice swimming pools further down there. But this is where we're at. Hey, Dub, you're always welcome here, my friend. Always. I do genuinely appreciate the company. Oh, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time, the B&M Railroad. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Oh, no. Dub, don't call me sir. I work for a living. I'm going to draw a hard line on that one, brother. Hard line on that one. I work for a living. The way I see it, sir is spelled C-U-R. And I speak them with the same authority. But we'll wander around a little bit, get some different angles here. Try not to fall in the water with my crippled ass. If I sound muffled, it's probably because I got a cigarette hanging out of my lip. And yes, I'm working on trying to quit that, but let's see if we can get eyes on a couple more trout before we leave. A couple pretty little brookies. Didn't see any when I was down here with my daughter. We saw all the fry and the fingerlings, but didn't see anything worth catching. There was a family downstream fishing. I don't know if they had any luck. They were at one of the lower pools. Oh, there's a trout. Let's zoom in and see if we can get something here. Get the headlamp off. There we go. There's a small one near the surface. There's a couple in there, and they don't like the light. They hide from it. Yeah. Oh, that battery's going too, which means I do have to get out of here soon. Yeah, we'll zoom out. Let me throw the headlamp on for a bit of a view here. Small set of falls over here. Nice little zigzag that comes down the rock face in the splits of the bedrock. Then there's the falls that I got the lights in, and then before I wrap up, I will take you guys over to the falls that are behind this big outcropping here. Sorry, I'm just scrolling up in chat to catch up a little bit. Hey Rick, it has been a pleasure. Feel free to swing by anytime. I got some decent videos posted up. One I would highly recommend if you're swinging through. I have a hyperlapse drive on a forest road in Berlin, New Hampshire near the fish hatchery that was really fun to film. Really fun to film. So if you check out anything on my channel, I would recommend it be that video, is the hyperlapse drive. I did it in short form for a vertical, and I also did a horizontal long form for your viewing choice. I found some really fitting music for it, and I think I did some justice for the drive. It was fun. But before I lose light from my decent flashlight, we're going to get back over to that other waterfall. Peek around the corner, and then say our partings for the evening. But Rick, thank you. Like I said, you're always welcome. There's always room for a new friend around my campfire, even when I cold camp. I'm gonna head over here. I am looking forward to warming up, but it starts getting pretty deep over here, like 9 feet or so deep there. I'm gonna try and climb up over this with one hand. Oh, there's one spot I want to put my foot, and right there there's a fish sleeping in it. That little fish right there. Dang. Being crippled makes everything so complicated. Ah. Try and extend you out. There we go. Well, Rick, feel free to drop me a line, man. I would absolutely be happy to catch up with you. Drop me an email. My email's in the description on my channel. Oh. Alright. Alright. So, we'll get you on the tripod. We'll close this out with a view of the waterfall. Thank you for the company. I genuinely do appreciate it. I will be sure to make this live public afterwards, so you can catch up a little bit more of the scenery if you're just jumping in. But yeah, this is what I do as an unhoused outdoorsman. I find places like this to cool my heels and wash my butt. But yeah, it's been fun, people. So thank you for the likes. 10 likes, that's the most I've had in a stream, but then again, I almost never have more than like 5 to 10 concurrent viewers, so. But you're all friends, and I appreciate it. So with that, I think we're going to say, Boondock out. Have a great night, everyone.